What's up, baby? Welcome to Re-Frag. I'm your host, Drew Face, and this is my co-host.
I'm Scooter, and we're back with another episode on back to our normal Fridays. And Drew, some interesting topics this week. Not very. We're going back. We're going to back to your favorite hot topic.
Oh man, look, I don't know what's up with the FGC, dude. Like they don't know what they want. I know that 100%. They don't fucking know what they want. But today's hot topic on my Twitter feed was making PC the standard for tournaments. And we had the discussion like in the community a while ago. PC's not one. These developers, they can't even optimize the experience on console. Why the fuck are they asking for a standardized PC version? Two, it's not optimized on PC. So that means like you gotta have like a really expensive computer, and then on top of that, like these. Okay, the reason why this discussion has even started is because of this. Someone did an input delay test for Guilty Gear Strive, and we know Guilty Gear Strive. You already know, baby. This game, it's fun. It's a fun game to play. Everything else about it, fucking terrible, right? Like the lobbies don't fucking work. They crash on you, and it turns out there's a lot of input delay. And here's the worst part: on PS4, there's 5 frames of delay. On PS5, which is the better hardware system, there's 6 frames of delay. But you know what's fucking crazy? On PC, with VSync on, it's 1 frame. On PC, with VSync off, so there's a lot of screen tears and shit, 1 frame. Fucked up. That made the community be like, why don't we use PC as the standard? Let me tell you something. Evil, which is like the biggest fighting game convention, not even a tournament anymore, the biggest fighting game event. It's like the World Cup of fighting games. Sponsored by Sony. Why the fuck do you want PC? You want to piss off Sony? One of the few people who's okay with blowing millions on the FGC, right? That's fucked up. Two, you folks never bring anything, not even fucking controller, to the tournament. Why the fuck are you asking for PC? Well, you have to bring your own PC. You gonna pay a tournament organizer $100,000 to get like 60,000 fucking PCs everywhere? No, I know you won't, because you guys complain about venue fee anyway. So you definitely not paying the organizer to have a PC. You definitely not bringing your own controller. I know you're not bringing your own PC. So it's like, what the fuck? There are other upsides, obviously, to having fighting games on PC, right? For example, sponsorship's gonna go up the wazoo because now you have shit to sell, like graphic cards, RAM sticks. Shouts to Corsair, baby. What's up? Monitor. Shouts to Zawu. What's up? And like, like all these other parts. But guess what? FGC people, they just figured out how to content create, right? They could have been doing this 10 years ago. They didn't do it, right? They were just too busy playing on console. And then now, like, PC's the boom, PC's the move, right? But the thing is, like, yo, there's a lot of reasons why we're not doing PC. Console is much more uniform, right? Everything's just already done. There's no like variance. There's very little variance across all the consoles. Fine. Two, you guys aren't gonna bring your PCs. Fuck you guys. You only bring your own controllers. You can't even pay your own venue fee. It's like, what the fuck? And then the worst part is, why would we doing this for one game? Right? We could have been playing KI on PC. Y'all didn't give a fuck. Y'all didn't play KI until it was too late. Y'all didn't play KI until it was too late. And then like with Street Fighter, Xbox, we played on Xbox 360, but for the first 2 years of Street Fighter 4's lifespan, we played on PS4. When PS3, when PS4 came out with Street Fighter 5, we played only on PS4. We still play on PS4. It's been the standard for a long time. Yeah, we're not ostracizing one of the biggest fighting games ever. Like we're not for PC. Even though it runs so much better on PC, by the way. Everything about fighting games historically runs better on PC. Problem is the logistics. The logistics is fucking terrible, man. Like there's so much variance. There's no one's controller is gonna work. And the worst part is like you're gonna introduce so many other factors that out of both the TO, like the organizer's control, and the player. And that's just shitty. And then the worst part is I'm not gonna depend on the players to bring their own PCs, right? As an organizer, I'm not gonna depend on you because Historically, the FGC has always been like, hey, you go to a place, the arcade's there, system's already there, everything's already there. You sit down, you put your quarters in. You hopefully the guy who's fixing the joystick fixed it today. You start mashing the buttons and fight each other. Like that's always been the experience. You sit down, plug and play. That's it. People are already complaining to even go like down the street to do something, right? So it's like, no, like this is FGC is crazy for like trying to get PC as the standard. Maybe we'll reach a future where everybody's responsible and can hold accountability to bring their own computers and we can play on PC. But fuck you. No PCs for you guys. You guys ruined the chance already. And on top of that, we're not trying to piss off the sponsors. And on top of that, the developers didn't even optimize the game for console. Let them do that first. Let them make the consoles better first.
One
Right?
thing,
Look at Stripe's not even good on PC. I mean, Stripe's not even good on PC. It's still buggy. And Stripe's not even good on console.
one thing I really like that you brought up pretty early on there, which probably was like 5 minutes ago now, but um, you had kind of touched on it for a split second, where you said the, people have to then have their own good PCs, and that's I think that's one of the bigger things too, because when you go to an event, obviously everything is under a controlled scenario, so the PCs are gonna, and this goes for any game, but PCs are gonna be good, consoles are gonna be good, whatever, blah blah blah. The monitors are gonna be 144 hertz if you go to like an event at Waves, but the problem with the FGC moving to PC, if they were to, is I can almost guarantee I'm sure a lot of them that do have gaming PCs as well. But for the ones that don't, there's that price factor. So if people had to, if FGC fully moved to PC, there's going to be people that need to go and buy PCs, and not everybody can afford them. Now, obviously, with PS4 or PS5, it's a one-time purchase that you're not going to upgrade until the next one comes out, which is usually 3.
Yeah. 3 to 6 years.
Yeah. And so putting everybody, and even if they do have a PC, there's no saying they're on a shit PC. They can run the game, not at 144 though, and maybe they're not even getting 60. And that's the big thing. Consoles, aren't even 60, but if they're lagging and stuff, and somebody gets a completely different experience, and then they go to land on a PC that's got like a 3090 in it just to be smooth as anything, and now they're playing on this way different experience, and it's like it's gonna, it wouldn't, it just never would be consistent, and that's I think the big problem with it.
Yeah, and it all comes down to one thing, right? The Japanese fighting game developers, they're not good at optimizing the game. They're not. They're straight up not. Like I'm being brutally fucking honest. I'm probably gonna burn some bridges, but like they're really not doing a great job because like for years they've never had to develop a game for a PC, right? It's just recent now. And trust me, I love fighting games on PC. I only play fighting games on PC. I don't play console fighting games anymore. I haven't for the last 10 years. I've only played on PC. The problem is that like I've always had to have like the best PC to run it. Even now, like I can't run Guilty Gear. I need to upgrade my graphic card. Right? Guilty Gear is not optimized, right? And Guilty Gear is really fun to play. I really like playing the game when I can. And yeah, like that everyone's experience is gonna be so different. So my plea is for all the developers to be, especially in Japan, just make the game good on console first. Stabilize it on console, please, for the love of God. Like, I just want to like, I just want everybody to come and play fighting games again, right? And like, whatever the determined standard will be, fine. Like, I'll run it on that, but like, make sure it's run well. It's not run well on any of them right now, right? Like, PS5 has issues with Strive, which is really odd because it's the better hardware from PS4, but it has more input delay. That's a fucking problem, right? And yeah, like just the game's buggy, game's crashy. It's just
I mean, I feel like the FGC too, and it's one of the, it's probably like the only scene that I can think that this would happen to, but for the FGC to move to PC, I feel like the whole scene, if you know what I mean, has to move. Like the whole scene, every game, like everything needs to switch to PC if we want to move to like this PC. And like you said, you actually touched on it really well. But the whole LAN thing, like me coming from an FPS background, going to a tournament, a lot of locals especially, or big, like way too big events that they can't supply PCs like you were talking about. Um, it's BYOB,
Yeah,
or
it's always been
or
BYOB.
sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
bring your own console. Yeah,
Bring your own. Sorry, BYOPC.
yeah,
But that's the thing. People don't understand that like that is okay in bigger events where it's like maybe 20 players invited.
yeah.
Then they can, they can supply a PC to everybody. It's no problem. But do you think like that's gonna happen in fighting games? There's way too many people for them. For one, there's gonna be so many people that people won't want to bring their PCs.
Yeah,
At big
no,
events like that, it's a risk. Like,
it's a huge risk, and you already know the foot traffic for FGC events. They're huge. They're
yeah,
bigger than any other genre because why? Well, we're kind of forced to meet up and play. you know, like the online's not that great, so we have to we have to like wait every month to go to like America or like Florida, meet up with our buddies and kick each other's asses for a weekend, right? Like that's always been the thing, and that's why FGC events like have really big draws, like 10,000, 5,000, 2,000, even 1,000 people like go like to major events. Why? Because it's like, and that's more than like a PC event. Like that's more than like a CS:GO
oh
tournament.
yeah.
So it's like, and we do that because why? The online shit.
God, can you also another big problem? I mean, this is the problem with any game, but especially when it's switching from a console game to PC. Can you imagine if FGC moved to PC and like BYO PCs were a thing? You
Mhm.
imagine like the amount of stories that would come out. Somebody installed a cheat so that their controller would like, oh, dude, because
So
you'd probably have to play on one PC, like you currently do with
yeah.
a console. So
Well, here's the thing: like not all controllers are like digitally signed or
yeah,
approved, right? So like you never know if your stick actually works, your arcade stick works for that computer, which is shitty because then you have to download a million drivers
yeah,
to
and
like
then a
even get it to
bajillion
function.
Steam profiles and all
It's
that
so
dumb
dumb.
shit. Yeah,
Yeah, and then on top of that, like the FGC hasn't had a problem with like people like macroing and cheating because like at the end of the day, it comes down to decision making. You have to press the button, right? Someone has to press the button. And like it's very obvious if you're not doing the combo. But like at the same time, like there's a reason why like there's FGC bots in ranked. So here's a really funny story. In across every fighting game, there's always a bot that's programmed to like fight other people in ranked. And like everyone in their lifespan, like me included, we have to fight the bot at some point in rank. But like a testament if you're a good player is that you can beat the bot, right? Like this scripted bot who like can count frames and shit. Like at the end of the day, he still has to react on what you do. And sometimes if you do nothing, you're gonna freak out. And if you have a button macro, what happens if you just play turtle and you play defensive, right? What? Like even if your buddy, like even if the cheater has to press like one button to do a combo, you're not giving him a chance to do it. Whereas like obviously in like an FPS game, you have walls, you know where they are, et cetera, et cetera. But because like fighting games is everything's on the screen, it's very hard to cheat. It's very, very hard. And it's very easy to know. Like, so like people are like, why would you cheat? Just learn the fucking combo because at the end of the day, you still have to press buttons. Now you just have to press two more or four more buttons. Like learn the fucking sequence because like you still have to land. You still have to figure out the timing to land the button, right? You still have to open me up to hit me, and like even if you have a cheat where like you press one button, everything automatically combos. You still have to do that,
yeah.
right? So it's like it's very hard to cheat, but like I mean, that's possible too, though. Well, what happens if you have a? So here's a very legendary story, and I'm so fucking surprised no one's talked about this for years, right? Re-Frag exclusive. So in Ultimate Marvel versus Capcom 3, people were modding their. You know about the Cronus, right?
I don't think so.
Okay, so the Cronus, the Cronus is like an adapter that allowed people to convert their PS4, PS3 stick to uh Xbox. Now, here's the thing: if you play Call of Duty, Cronus is banned because it cheats. It always lags your system out. There's like a ton of problems with it right now. Recently, like Call of Duty players Like someone was caught cheating using a Cronus. This is different. This is the OG Cronus where it was like a dongle. You had a dongle. It was a converter. It converted PS4 sticks, PS3 sticks to Xbox. The thing is, it would it would lag, create artificial lag for the other person, right? So what players used to do in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, they would mod their PS3 stick, put a different shell on the outside to make it look like it was an Xbox 360 stick, but inside it was a Cronus. It was a Cronus signal converter, and then they would have like a little like the wire coming out of it, like an extension to make it look like it was a normal stick. And like I'm surprised no one talked about this because people were modding sticks with this Cronus inside of it during Marvel. And like sometimes that's why you would see some random upsets sometimes. Like it's insane. Like obviously this never got popular, this never got leaked. But like, you know, it was a huge thing within like hush hush with some top players. I remember like I'm not gonna name his name, but like, you know, a very, very known influencer was like, yo, like we were talking about like how fucked up like some people were cheating were, and like it wasn't talked about because we were talking about Adderall in the FGC, right? And we're like, oh, dude, no one checks for Adderall. Like you could be on Adderall in the FGC. And then like the topic was like, yo, remember the Cronus Max converter? And I was like, yeah, I remember the Cronus Max converter. They're like, yeah, a lot of players had it. A lot of Marvel players, especially, had it built modded into their stick to make sure you would drop your combo. It was like fucking insane. But yeah, like there's something like that for PC. Like that could
Yeah.
happen for
And that's
PC.
probably really easily done on PC. That's the scary thing when it comes to
Yeah.
the FGC moving over, because that whole, like, even if it's like like you said, like a form of lag switch, even if it's literally like a split second. So
Oh,
when
it's
it,
important.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Well, that's the thing. FGC, every like every button, tiny mistakes cause you combos and everything. Like that
Yeah.
much I do know. And it's like, even if you, because I can almost guarantee you there's somebody out there that could code a program that when you do a certain combo, once you get to the, like, once it recognizes that the other player has gone AX up, down, whatever, then it goes, oh, okay, the next button, I'm gonna lag.
Yeah,
Somebody could easily
that
code
could be
that.
possible.
Yeah.
That could be very possible. And you know what? Because these games are poorly developed, there's no anti-cheat built within it anyway. Like, that's what I'm saying. This shit
Man.
is crazy.
So speaking of cheaters and hackers, let's go on to the next subject of Apex Legends. So
Ooh.
Drew, you want to give us the rundown of what happened this week?
All right. So this is the funniest. This is the most wholesome reason to hack a game, right? But a ton of Titanfall fans hacked Apex Legends, and they didn't ruin the game or anything. All they did was when the game's booted up, the start screen said, "Please save Titanfall.com," and you go to Titanfall.com, and it's a plea to Respawn to save their game because you know why? Right now, Titanfall basically, for people who don't know, Apex Legends is actually a reworked version of Titanfall for free to play. Now, obviously, Apex Legends is a very successful game. It's super fun. It's amazing. Mechanically, it's awesome. But all those mechanics, you can find in another game that no one gave a fuck about called Titanfall, which is an excellent game. It's an amazing game, by the way. Like, people should play Titanfall. But people can't play Titanfall because, like, there's so many hackers online. And so what they did was, what a bunch of other hackers did was they're like, fuck it, you know, I love playing Titanfall. I'm tired of being hacked. Respawn doesn't care. And the worst part is EA is still selling Titanfall for half off. And and these Titanfall hackers who are big fans of the game, they sat there, they're like, you know what? This is a scam. Why are they trying to sell this to anyone? I don't want anyone to experience what I'm experiencing. My fellow hackers are hacking this game to ruin it for everybody. And then EA's trying to sell this game so then a new guy can get suckered into playing online and then deal with the fucking hackers. So they hacked Apex to have like that call out to call to action for Respawn to say, hey, do something about the cheating. And the funniest part is that, yo, Apex has cheating problems too. Respawn's got a cheating problem, baby. They gotta fix that shit.
It's definitely something they've got to work on. I mean, you see, even, it's funny, we're seeing the save Titanfall trend right now.
Yeah.
And not even a week, maybe a week and a half ago, we saw the Save Apex trend, where a lot of Apex pros and a lot of Apex just community took to Twitter and stuff because their anti cheat is just so garbage.
Yeah.
And everybody who genuinely still enjoys that game, and don't get me wrong, Apex is a good game. Not really for me anymore. Just, but
You got hit with too many hackers, baby. That's what happened.
exactly, and it is sad because a lot of games do struggle through that. And I mean, hell, if the CS fan base wasn't so big, I would honestly CS probably would have died for that too. But
Mhm.
yeah, Apex has a serious problem, and obviously it is more noticeable in games like Apex where there's like 100 people lobbies. Um, so Apex and Titanfall, it should be an eye opener for Ubisoft. I mean, hell, even their cybersecurity
Yeah.
apparently. Or sorry, yeah. Who did I say? Oh,
Ubisoft.
sorry, Ubi.
Ubisoft kind of cares.
Yeah, Ubi does kind of care.
Yeah.
Sorry, EA. Yeah, that should be a big wake up call for them, and a kind of well. I mean, if they're anti cheat shit, and they've just got hacked, so obviously their cybersecurity is pretty shit. Um, so maybe
Enjoy your privacy, dog.
yeah, maybe you want a team on that, but I don't know. I
Yeah.
hope for their sake, it's the nostalgia can be brought back.
I mean, I'm a huge Apex fan. I played it like hardcore for the first year, and then after the first year, the hacking got really notorious, and I was just fed up. I was like, "There's no way, like no fucking way."
Yeah,
And yeah, like, and then apparently, like, I think 3 years later from the game's official launch, the hacking's only got worse. And they tried many different things, right? Like they tried to do like a hackers only server, but then they were putting like innocent people like
yeah,
in those servers because like the game's starting to die, right? And then that's what happens when you don't maintain the integrity of your game. It just dies.
yeah.
Fine.
Well, apparently something that is one nostalgia, two will not die, and three keeps returning is apparently Shroud. Did you see the thing? Shroud is returning to Valorant. Well, not returning. He's playing professionally for the first time for fun though. He's going to be playing in the VCT Open, the next one when KO is available.
Wow.
He's bringing back the old guys crew from CSGO. So it's going to be him, Sean Gears, Nothing Jordan Gilbert,
Mhm.
and I think they're looking at Dicey. And the rumor is supposed to be Tarek is joining them.
Tarek, not even. I heard last time from that it was Sean BM, but Tarek is going to be a kind of fire. That's a legit lineup, actually.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. And I think the big thing is a lot of people have been comparing KO to CS because people say he plays like obviously his abilities are a little different, but even his flash and stuff, people say it really feels like quite CS:GO-y and just the way he moves.
So I play Valorant, and what KO does to the game, he makes everybody play Counter Strike
Yeah.
because he disables everyone's abilities, and that's kind of fun. Like it comes down to all raw aim, and like a lot of players are excited to bring him. Like a lot of pro players are excited to bring him into the meta because now they get to see who's actually relying on the skills and who's actually like an aim god and who's actually got like tactical FPS fundamentals. So that's gonna be really exciting. But I'm surprised Gen G let Sean Garris play and like
To my knowledge, it
in
was Sean
Shroud.
Gears. I may have misunderstood the article. Uh,
And even Shroud. I thought like they're still signed to teams. Like
I
they
think
it would be like in competitive conflict of interest, really.
so. I know Shroud is fine 'cause Shroud is fully apart now. Like Shroud is fully on his own. But
Ooh.
the rest of them, it could just be I mean, they're not playing for Shroud. Yeah, Shroud openly said on stream that they're not playing for like a pro career. They are playing it for fun, and if they
Mhm.
make it, they make it. Um,
They have a good chance to.
that's yeah. So what? And then that's I'm very 50-50 on the matter because like the thing with old guys crew in CS:GO is they did make it once. I think they made
They
it
all
in
they almost I remember they almost made it, but then they forfeited the last game because Shroud had to stream that day. And they're
yeah.
like, fuck it, dude.
And I'm kind of curious if they'll do the same thing again because if they let's say, because that's obviously good talent, and they all these guys are playing Valorant nonstop right now, and if they
Yeah.
make it now, one, if they stop, like let's say the second place team can't go anymore because obviously Shroud's team wins, I don't know how I feel about that, because it's on one hand it's, Shroud and that are so skilled, but they don't want pro. And on the other hand, you have these young guys that just got beat out by like old gods, raw aim, and they were so close, but stolen away from the old guys' crew. How do you feel about it?
Every, everyone has to earn their shot. And if unfortunately if they didn't beat the old man crew, that means they're not good enough to make it. Like like yes, for me, I'm arguing, hey, isn't there like a conflict of interest because Dicey plays for 100 Thieves still, right? Like, well, even though he's bench, he still plays for them. He was a
Yeah,
stand in last game. Like, that guy is still at the peak of his powers. Like, he's only 17. Like,
it
he's only
could
18,
be
17. So
they may be just hard pushing that this is for fun. Nobody's locked to this, so
yeah, and like in another way, like I think it would be healthy if they could do that because those specific guys, I know they're playing to be competitive, but not for pro. Like they're just playing because they want to see how far they can go, right? How push themselves, and it makes good content. And on top of that, I think like if you're Riot, you kind of want to let that happen because all those guys have a huge following.
yeah,
It
it's
brings more
essentially a
eyes to the
show
game.
match.
Yeah, it
Like,
is. And every time you play against that team, it's a show match. Like that, like in another way, a young team can get a lot of exposure, especially if they beat them.
yeah,
Because you're not beating like it's not like these guys are doing it for attention. These guys are legit still great at the game. Like Sean Garris has the one of the best Yorus in North America. Like Dicey is one of the best Jets in North America. And like obviously Shroud is sick at it. Like Shroud is cracked. Like
just
he's
raw
so
aim.
good.
Yeah,
Just raw fucking aim, right? So it's not like you're beating up a bunch of scrubs. Like I think in a way, like me as a competitor, if I was like even remotely competitive at Valorant, I would love to play against them. I get myself featured. I'm gonna probably do my best to beat them. If I do beat them, I get so much. If I do lose to them, yeah, of course. Like who am I losing to? Legends.
Shroud.
Yeah, Shroud and his best friends who happen to be CSGO legends, except for Dicey, who happen to be on 100 Thieves who won first strike.
Yeah,
Like that's not like there's no shame in that. Like comparatively, I'm like, yeah, that's a great challenge. Let's fucking do it. And then I know that I'm gonna give them a lot of benefit of the doubt just because I know Shroud loves Valorant. I know Shroud loves to play Valorant. He plays it so much. He watches so much Valorant. He does overtime on his shift. Like Riot's like you can watch 3 matches. This guy would stream 16 hours and he would watch all the regions. He
yep.
wouldn't watch just like NA. I woke up one time. This guy was still watching Korean matches. He's like, Korea's sick, bro. Like, like he's just sitting here just hyped to watch Korea. Like,
And
I know this guy is generally passionate about Valorant. Like,
yeah,
it's not fake shit.
it's super well. Actually, I'm gonna touch on two things. One, just quickly before we get too far from it, like you said, if you start shitting on Shroud, it's such good exposure, like you said. Because if
Yeah,
Shroud's streaming it, if he's allowed to stream it all, which I'm sure he is,
yeah, for
um,
sure.
he's
Shroud.
yeah, he like Shroud will say on stream, like if somebody's genuinely outclassing him in aim, he's gonna be like, God damn, this kid's nasty. And then he'll like Shroud obviously isn't gonna care if they win or lose, and he'll be like, "Oh, that kid was cracked," and then
Yeah,
all of Shroud's fans are gonna go look at that kid's Twitter or whatever and be like, "Wow, this kid was nuts. I want to watch his stream as well." Like,
that
so
happened in Apex actually. Uh,
yeah,
someone who wasn't pro but like was living out of his fucking trailer or like he would play it from the McDonald's Wi-Fi. He started beasting on Shroud, and then all of a sudden he started streaming. It turns out he's an awesome guy. So luckily Shroud hyped up the right guy, and then he has a pro career. Like that's like he has a pro streamer career. Now he's like one of the best Apex players in the world, like top 3.
yeah,
Like that could happen if for anyone in Valorant too. Like if you start shitting on Shroud, because it's Shroud is not a scrub. Shroud is really good at aiming, like really fucking good. Like he's almost radiant again. Like, and he doesn't play full time. Like,
yeah.
yeah, but yeah. Sorry, your other point.
Honestly, I completely forgot what I was gonna say, and that's only because the second I stopped speaking, it just went. Boop. Um, But no, and I'm super excited to see what these guys do. Like, it's gonna be fun to watch them go through the open. It's gonna be fun to, you know, get some of that reminiscence of the old guys crew.
Mhm.
But anything else you want to talk about in esports this week? Any hot topics? Any just anything you've seen on your Twitter? Or we
Nah, the only thing I've seen on Twitter is like the PC debate and how like organizers are like, hey, please pay us $100,000 to like run a PC event because we know you're not bringing your own PCs.
well, Drew, where can they find you on Twitter so they can watch all these rants?
Man, watch these rants.
Oh,
No, you
sorry.
should check out the Re-Frag.
Check out the
Twitter.
your retweets of all these PC debates.
Man, you can check my socials at DrewFace _ DREW face _, and then you'll see a lot of sneakers, me shitting on some random Smash player for no reason, and like just the random FGC. Like, how about you? Where should they check your socials out, buddy?
Well, mine's just gonna be probably Parabellum retweets and Re-Frag retweets, but it's at Scooter CSGO, which I hope I one day can change. But obviously, every variation of Scooter is taken, so we'll see. But we'll also see you next Wednesday. We're gonna be back next week. Probably got quite a bit to talk about next week. And that's it. Just don't forget to follow the Re-Frag Twitter at the Re-Frag TV. And yeah, we'll be back Wednesday.